The story of Totapuri is very beautiful. It will teach us a lot about bhakti and jnana. So let us go a bit into this beautiful historical record of Sri Ramakrishna's Vedanta sadhana under Totapuri. Totapuri was the typical stern ascetic who had attained the highest mainly through discipline. And he knew that the indomitable human will can attain this highest goal. He felt that the human intellect can grasp the nature of Brahman. He himself had attained it that way through Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And so when he came to Dakshineshwar, he actually did not go to the Kali temple. He had never believed in anything other than this supreme goal of life. So he did not acknowledge Shakti, as it were, the Divine Mother. When he first saw Sri Ramakrishna, he felt that this is a young man who's fit for Vedant. So he asked him, would you like to learn Vedant from me? Sri Ramakrishna immediately said, I will ask my mother. And Totapuri thought, he's a young man, maybe he's attached to his mother, his biological mother, he will ask her and come. So he said, okay, ask your mother and come. And Sri Ramakrishna went straight to the Kali temple. And he asked the Divine Mother, Mother, should I learn this? And Mother said, yes, Totapuri has come here for this purpose. Get the knowledge of Vedant from him. So then Sri Ramakrishna comes back and agrees and then takes formal sannyas under Totapuri and then begins his great Vedanta sadhana. So Totapuri tells him to meditate, to concentrate here at the Agnya Chakra between the eyebrows and plunge into the state of pure consciousness which you are, the Atman, which is your real nature. Now Sri Ramakrishna sits in meditation, but who is his obstacle? It is the Divine Mother herself, that beloved form to which he has complete devotion. Because of the great Sagun Sakar Upasana he has done, he is only devoted to Mother. He has no other distraction in his life. His mind again and again plunges at the lotus feet of the Divine Mother Kali. And he is not able to take her form out of his mind. So he tries again and again. When he is not able to do it, he tells Totapuri. Totapuri says, what do you mean you can't do it? And then he takes a shard of pottery or glass, something which was fallen there, and pierces between the eyebrows of Sri Ramakrishna and just pierces here and tells him to concentrate there. And then Sri Ramakrishna plunges into meditation when Totapuri instructs him sternly that with the sword of knowledge, cut any form which comes into your mind into two. Cut the form of the Divine Mother into two. What it means to say is, it's a figurative way of saying transcend name and form. Transcend name and form. Enter the state of pure awareness. So this is actually what happens when Sri Ramakrishna sits in meditation. Again, the blissful form of the Divine Mother appears in his mind and his whole mind is at her feet. But then he remembers his stern resolve and he, as it were, cuts the mother into two with the sword of knowledge, plunges into the state of pure consciousness, which is Brahman. So authentic was Sri Ramakrishna's meditation that for 3 days and 3 nights after that, he is in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Sitting there like a statue, absolutely unmoving, completely absorbed in Brahman. So Totapuri is taken aback. He thinks he has attained this state in 3 days, in 1 day. And he is in this state for 3 days and 3 nights continuously, not coming out of the state at all. Totapuri himself had attained it after hard spiritual discipline for 40 years. So you see here, you see the importance of Sagun Sakar Upasana. It is a way of collecting your mind and completely dedicating at the feet of the Sagun aspect of God. Once it has got this devotion, once it has got this discipline, it will naturally plunge into the state of supreme consciousness. It will naturally transcend name and form. So Sri Ramakrishna shows us after 3 days, Totapuri comes and makes efforts to bring back Sri Ramakrishna's mind into normal consciousness. When he enters that kutia, he sees Sri Ramakrishna still plunged in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, absolutely motionless. One cannot say whether he is breathing or not, whether the heartbeat is there or not. So he makes efforts, Hari Om chanting, to bring Sri Ramakrishna back into the normal state of consciousness. Gradually, Sri Ramakrishna's mind comes down to normal consciousness, and the bliss on his face, and Guru and disciple embrace each other. So this is how Sri Ramakrishna attained the goal of Vedanta. Now, Totapuri is very happy, but he does not return back. You see, he was a wandering monk who would stay in any place for just 3 days so that he doesn't get attached to the place. But in Dakshineshwar, he stayed on for 11 months in the company of Sri Ramakrishna, in the holy precincts of the Kali temple. He stayed there. And in this time, the Divine Mother Kali herself taught him those lessons which he had not learnt, in the sense he had not acknowledged the presence of Shakti. So the Divine Mother had her own plans of making him acknowledge that. So one day he had a severe bout of dysentery and so much of pain in the stomach. Now, from his standpoint, this was something too much. The inconceivable had happened. His mind was descending to his body, to the pain in his stomach. And he could not bear this. That mind, which was every day used to plunging in supreme consciousness, it is coming down to the body. So this was unbearable for him. So he decided, now he will get rid of the body. Of what use is the body? After all, the body has helped him attain the state of the actual goal of human life. So now it is of no more use. So one day at night, he slowly moved towards the Ganga. For those of you who have been to Dakshineshwar, the Ganga there is quite a huge expanse of water. So Totapuri's plan was to drown his body in the Ganga. So this kind of Jala Samadhi, he thought it suited him, because after all he had attained the supreme goal of human life. So he moved towards the waters. As he entered into the Ganga, he gradually waded deeper and deeper into the Ganga. He waded and waded, but the ground was always under his feet. There was not water enough in the Ganga to drown him. He saw this clearly. And he was so surprised. He almost reached the other shore. Now he thought, what kind of a divine Maya is this? What kind of a miracle is going on? I am not able to drown myself in the Ganga. There is not enough water in the Ganga to drown me. And he returned back. Again, the ground was under his feet all the time. So when he returned back, he understood that there is some other power which guides human life and human destiny. As long as you are an embodied soul, this power works. It is so beautifully put. Shakti Tattva is to be understood. All of our living and dying, our striving or not striving, our yoga, our meditation, our Vedant, all of that is taking place where? It is taking place in the realm of our mind. Until we transcend this mind, one has to acknowledge this divine power. So this divine power guides our destiny. It guides our will. Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, all is verily Shakti. Our striving, our sadhana is she herself. Our very perceptions, our sensations, the work of our senses, our motor organs is all verily she. She is our heart beating. She is our lungs performing their function. Other than pure consciousness, everything else is in the realm of Prakriti. It is she alone. How can you not admit this? So, the way to Brahman lies through her. All sadhana, that is why is actually Shakti sadhana. It is done in the realm of Shakti. That is why Sri Ramakrishna said, as long as you are in the jurisdiction of Shakti, the way is through her. By appeasing her, worshipping her, sadhana is in her realm, obviously. So that is why the way is through her. And Totapuri intensely felt the truth of this. The whole of that night, when he came back from the Ganga front, he spent in meditation on the Divine Mother. He lit a dhuni fire and spent the life in meditation of that Divine Shakti, who is actually responsible for our action or our non-action, who is responsible for everything in our lives. And he understood what the Divine Mother was. He grasped this Shakti Tattva. And the next day morning, he went to the Kali temple. First time he set foot in the Kali temple, and Sri Ramakrishna went with him. They bowed down to Mother Kali with so much of devotion. Totapuri understood the play of the mother. And when they came out, Sri Ramakrishna told him, see, that is why I always say, Brahma Shakti Ak. Brahman and my mother are not different. That is like the stationary aspect of consciousness. This is like consciousness in motion. But they are the same thing. So you cannot but admit Shakti. This is how Totapuri understood the importance of Shakti. See, if sadhana has to become successful, we must understand the realm in which our faculties are operating. As long as we do not touch pure awareness, you are in the realm of Shakti. So the way is through all these upasanas. That is why the bhakti mark becomes so very important. See, Sri Ramakrishna's mind could immediately plunge into Nirvikalpa Samadhi for the simple reason Savikalpa Samadhi was so easy for him. His whole being was tuned to the Divine Mother. Constantly he lived in her light. He had her vision. That is why it was so easy for him to transcend that one form and immediately touch the formless. So, bhakti and jnana, they are complementary, they crisscross, they are to be practiced together. And don't compartmentalize these yogas. This is the supreme message of Sri Ramakrishna.